Diana's childhood friend was dying. When I heard the news, I was laying on the operating table. Diana dropped the scalpel and said to her colleague, "Please take over my husband's surgery." Then she turned and left. Watching Diana's back, I couldn't hold back my tears. The next moment, a cold scalpel touched my skin. Her colleague said calmly, "Why are you crying? With me here, you won't die." Diana silently put down the scalpel, threw her gloves into the trash can. "I can't do the surgery. Get Stella." This was 20 minutes after Vincent's accident. My calm and steady wife finally slipped up. She urgently halted my surgery, turned her back to everyone, pretending to be calm, but her slightly trembling hands gave her away. Vincent got into trouble, and she was worried sick. She was desperate to be by his side. "Diana, your husband's heart rate is fast. He's nervous. Are you sure you want to leave now?" My chest was hurting slowly. I calmly said to the nurse, "It's okay. Anyone can do the surgery." Everyone in the operating room looked at me with sympathy. I just gave a small smile. When Vincent came back, I knew my marriage with Diana was over. To ask Diana to leave a dying Vincent to operate on me, she couldn't accept it, and I didn't want to put my life in the hands of someone like that. The surgery room door slid open quietly. A tall figure wearing a mask came in. It was Diana's colleague Stella. Their figures crossed. Diana said, "Felix's surgery is yours. If I don't go now, I might regret it for life." Hearing her words, tears silently flowed down my face. Embarrassing, right? Felix yet again being left behind, and crying about it. Suddenly, a shadow fell over my eyes. A cold scalpel touched my skin. The always cold and silent Stella spoke softly. "What are you crying for? With me here, you won't die." The surgery lasted 2 hours. When it was done, it was already evening. It started raining heavily outside. Stella stayed by my side until I was stable before leaving. When Diana called, the anesthesia had just worn off, and I was sweating in pain. Answering the call, a lively male voice came through. "Sorry, brother-in-law. I'm not sure how my brother spread the news, but it's just a minor scratch." Diana rushed off without thinking, and I've already scolded her. Then a voice came through from the other end. "You're in your 30s, still so impulsive. Did you think you were in love with me? Huh? Bring him a cup of milk tea to apologize." There were rustling sounds, like Diana took the phone away. "How many times have I told you? Don't let the wound fester, just stay put. He just had surgery. Can't drink milk tea. It's all for you." It was all peaceful on that end. Only Diana's brother sounded extremely wronged. "I just said you had a car accident." She hung up the call in a hurry. "Not my fault. You guys don't have to drag me into your sweetness." I suddenly felt sick from the hurt. My chest felt heavy and painful. I swallowed back the request for Diana to give me some painkillers. I hung up the call without a word. A nurse came in, handed me some pills and smiled. "Here, Stella prescribed you pain meds. Take them and get some rest." Because I had to work, I was discharged after just 3 days. As I walked out of the hospital, Diana's car was parked outside. I instinctively opened the passenger door. A soft gasp made me see Vincent retract his body from the driver's seat. His disheveled collar and slightly provocative gaze froze me. "Sorry, brother-in-law, I didn't mean it." He looked like he was about to cry with urgency. Diana unwound her hair from her watch and scolded him lightly. "Don't speak nonsense. Don't make your brother-in-law misunderstand." Then Diana explained to me, "His hair got caught on my watch while picking something up." I knew Diana wasn't lying. She was always straightforward. Before we got married, Diana had told me clearly, "I've had a previous relationship, but after marriage, I'll stay loyal to you." But sometimes, that line can blur, becoming a breeding ground for ambiguity. Like now, I suppressed the bitterness in my heart. "Diana, let's talk. I don't want anyone else present." Maybe my mood made Vincent uneasy. He bit his lip. "Diana, I'm gonna get a cab home. Brother-in-law looks like he's upset." Diana remained calm and poised. "You have perfectly good legs, walk." Vincent's face turned pale, forcing a smile. "I'll try." But he didn't get up right away. Instead, he sat there waiting. Even Diana turned to look at me, her eyes calm and deep as always. Still, I somehow knew Diana wanted me to say something, preferably something sensible. But I didn't want to endure this injustice. I stepped back from the door, telling Vincent, "Get out, there are plenty of cabs by the corner." Vincent stiffened, his eyes turning red as he walked away. I sat where he sat before, the atmosphere stifled. For a while, Diana finally spoke gently. "No need to take it out on him for me leaving. You know, it was just a typical consultation call. Any case like this, I would have left." I didn't have the energy to argue about what was in her heart at that moment. I was just feeling really tired. "Diana, let's get a divorce." Diana slammed on the brakes. Things in the car were sent tumbling. She frowned slightly. "Felix, what's the point? Is it all because of Vincent?" I endured the blunt ache of my incision and said, "Yeah, it's because of Vincent." Outside, a sudden cry of pain burst forth, along with car horns blaring. Vincent had fallen at the street corner. In plain sight, I looked at the crowd outside through the car window, laughing bitterly. "Your Vincent fell. Aren't you going to check on him?" Diana, exuding coldness, restarted the car. "You're asking for a divorce. Why should I care about an outsider?" On the way home, the atmosphere dropped to freezing. When we got home, Kimmy purred and rubbed up against us. It was the cat Diana gave me. The year we got married. Kimmy likes to sleep between me and her. Diana stares at Kimmy for a while, then bends over and picks her up with a helpless tone. "Kimmy, Dad and Mom had a fight. Can you make Dad forgive Mom? How about it?" Kimmy, understanding us all too well, lets out a meow and looks at me. This is Diana's way of calming me down after every argument. She knows I melt when I see Kimmy, but this time, I press my lips together and say nothing. Diana takes the initiative and bows her head. "Did you take the painkillers Stella prescribed for you on time?" "You had her prescribe them?" I ask, eyebrows raised a bit. "What did you think? That I didn't want you anymore?" Diana moves in to kiss me, holding my face with her long fingers. Her cool fingers send a little shiver through me. "Felix, I'm not stupid enough to ruin our marriage." She whispers softly in my ear, getting lost in thought before saying gently, "Let's not get divorced, okay?" No, it's not okay. Not even a bit. If Vincent had returned 3 years ago, I wouldn't have minded. After all, Diana and I met through a setup. Bookish family meets medical family, we were a good match, but our feelings were thin. I'm a university teacher. Diana is busy with work. The first year we got married, I can count the times we went out on my fingers. I don't remember exactly when I fell for Diana. Maybe it was growing affection over time. Maybe it was that rainy night when I got into a car accident and the driver yelled at me. Diana came running through the rain, a respectable medical professor fighting with the driver for my sake. She had bruises on her face, her voice helpless yet fond. "Why are you crying, Felix? You can always come to me." But this woman I could turn to showed up in Vincent's social circle the day I got out of the hospital. I just finished teaching and was getting water in my office when I casually opened my social media. And there was Vincent's post, surprising me out of nowhere. His knee was freshly bandaged with a caption, "My penalty for ditching halfway is having the big professor personally come change my bandage." A little while later, he deleted it and wrote a new one. "Got in trouble. Next time I'll wait where I'm supposed to." He added a cute selfie, innocent and tender, slightly swollen lips looking just like a pampered kitten. A bracelet Diana usually wears was visible in the corner. My hand shook a bit as I set my cup down until a colleague called me back from my indescribable unease. I recognized the table from the picture. It was from Diana's parents' house. She'd taken Vincent home. My parents always said I had a strong sense of revenge. As a kid, if a dog bit me, I'd bite it back even if they split us apart. Things had gone so far, there was no reason to hold back. I promptly liked Vincent's post and commented, "Nice bracelet," before putting my phone on silent. After finishing my lecture, it was almost noon. I found Diana had called 7 or 8 times and Vincent 3. The social media post had been deleted. Diana called again, her tone helpless. Felix, why aren't you answering your phone? This Monday I have to teach, I replied. She paused, remembering I never answer calls during class. In those few seconds of silence, I figured she was thinking of how to explain it to me. But speaking first would seem suspicious. So I just waited. Soon, I heard Vincent's sobs over the line. Sorry, brother. I haven't seen Uncle and Auntie for ages. Today, I stopped by, and Diana just happened to change my bandage. Don't fight with her over this. I laughed. Which eye did you see me fighting with her? So guilty. You must have done something shady. Huh? Felix? Diana spoke softly, reminding me, Mom and Dad are beside me. Watch your words. Vincent was just expressing gratitude to a friend. He didn't do anything wrong. Maybe I was silent too long because Diana seemed frustrated. When do you get off work? I'll pick you up for dumplings. Mom made them herself. I felt a tightness in my chest, inhaled deep, and joked. Diana, the way things are at home, it's him or me. What answered me was a long pause. I had no idea Vincent had turned on the speaker. My voice echoed through the living room. Everyone heard it. Diana's patience ran dry. Fine, suit yourself, she said coldly, hanging up first. This was probably my first Cold War with Diana in the 3 years we'd been married. Neither early nor late. Just as Vincent's play Reunited Lovers was about to show. The teachers in my office couldn't stop praising it. I heard it's about long-lost lovers meeting again. Quite touching, I gather, since lots of people seem to get back with their exes after seeing it. I shut out all the gossip and brought a banner to Diana's hospital. Stella greeted me. Diana isn't here. Maybe another day you can give it to her personally? Under a light blue mask, she had pale skin, hands tucked coolly in her lab coat pockets. As always distant. No, it's for you. Thanks for operating on me last time, I said with a smile. Stella's light eyes studied me without much emotion, and she hung the banner on the wall without a word. I asked, Stella, I'm supposed to see you for stitch removal, right? Diana's busy, so just find me, she said. No surprise, Diana had no time for me. During our silent war, she'd moved back home, her consulting hours increasing from 2 to 4 times a week, and she never contacted me. I guess she thought I'd reach out first and go see her at the hospital. But I never did. I made it a point to visit when she was absent, leaving Stella to handle my appointments. Half a month had passed before Diana lost her patience and rang me up. Why do you keep going to Stella? For follow-ups, I replied. My shifts are Monday to Thursday, but you only visit on weekends. I chuckled, why so fiery today? Monday to Thursday, I'm teaching. Where's the time? Diana's voice was icy. Felix, do you know what you're doing? Some people are like that. When they stray emotionally, they become paranoid, thinking their partner might do the same. I calmly suggested, why don't you switch your shift to the weekend? Diana paused. Vincent's play was set for the weekend. She didn't want to miss it. I hung up. I looked up and met Stella's calm and silent gaze. I paused for a second. What's up? Stella lowered her gaze, and her slender fingers gently brushed over my medical chart. Felix, you've been prescribed sleeping pills 3 times this week. I can't give you any more. It's okay. If I get drunk, I can sleep just the same. Thanks for everything lately. Stella stared at my forced smile and suddenly asked, Want a drink together tonight? What? She took off her rubber gloves and stood up. Department dinner. Diana should be there too. Oh, so that's it. As a doctor's spouse, showing up at their dinner is totally normal. So I said yes and happily went along. Ironically, Diana was usually there, but tonight she wasn't. Seeing me all alone, her colleagues gave me sympathetic looks and took special care of me during dinner. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or not. The alcohol Stella placed beside me was mellow and smooth, not harsh at all. Before I knew it, I was a bit dizzy. Towards the end, the work group chat of these colleagues suddenly pinged. Stella's phone lit up beside me, so I saw the message. It was a photo of Diana with her back to the camera, standing in the kitchen cooking. The image was retracted less than 30 seconds after being sent. Diana explained in the group, Sorry, my husband was goofing around. Suddenly, All eyes at the table turned to me. The atmosphere was dead silent. I realized Diana was having an affair. It's like a train hanging in mid-air, thrilling yet not crashing into an abyss. She's just at her parents' place making dinner for a visiting Vincent. I couldn't confront her, or I'd be acting unreasonable. Honestly, I should have seen this coming, right? I've learned to accept this kind of thing calmly. It doesn't hurt anymore. After dinner, the group decided Stella would drop me off on her way. Before getting in the car, Diana's male colleagues approached to comfort me. Don't think too much, get some rest. Having drunk quite a bit, I thanked everyone numbly and then dozed off on the seat. Stella drove steadily. When the car stopped downstairs, she called my name, pulling me out of a dream. Somehow, my phone had slipped over to Stella's side. Instinctively, I reached for it, and my tie got hooked on Stella's watch. How cliché and dramatic. I chuckled bitterly. Sorry, Stella removed her watch, distancing herself to let me untangle it. Before I could thank her, the car door was yanked open from outside. A cold draft swept in. Diana stood there, her voice calm with the calm before a storm. Felix, you'd better explain what you're doing. This was probably the first time Diana lost control in front of me. Her voice nearly couldn't contain her anger. She gripped my wrist tightly and dragged me out of Stella's car. I sobered up almost instantly, meeting her gaze calmly. Let go of me. I didn't do anything. I saw everything. Diana, usually composed, flustered and angry for the first time. I suddenly recalled the scene on my discharge day, almost identical. My lips curled into a mocking smile. My tie just got caught on her watch. Don't misunderstand. Diana must have remembered that day too. Her angry expression froze. Diana's instinctual reaction disgusted me because I knew if she were truly innocent. After I said this, she'd argue back, claim she and Vincent were clean, accuse me of overreacting. But she didn't. She was flustered, nervous. She let go of me and stayed silent for a good while. So, when Vincent appeared at her side, she honestly considered reconnecting gloriously with him. Even thought about neglecting her wifely duties, being kissed by Vincent in the chair. It was my presence that reminded her of her crappy sense of marital duty. I turned back to Stella calmly and thanked her. I have some things to discuss with Diana. Drive safe on your way back. Stella nodded and left. The surroundings were eerily quiet. I ignored Diana and turned to walk towards the hallway entrance. Felix, let's talk. Diana tried to grab me, but I suddenly turned and slapped her hard across the face. The sharp slap echoed through the corridor. Anger and frustration that had been suppressed flooded out. I recalled her silhouette walking away from the operating table. The fear and helplessness of being left behind by my wife. Trembling with rage, I spoke coldly. Diana, don't touch me. I find you dirty. I didn't know how Diana explained to the family. In any case, she initiated an end to the silent treatment and moved back in. She bought a ton of toys for Kimmy and would playfully wave them in front of me. The same old trick. Felix, wanna hug Kimmy? Please? I took Kimmy, half-heartedly gave a few pats. Just when she thought I forgave her, the doorbell rang. My parents showed up at the door. Felix, we heard you two are going on a trip. Take Kimmy back for now. We'll pick him up when we're back. Not sure when exactly. Sensing the tension between us, my parents silently took Kimmy and left. After closing the door, I saw Diana's pale face and tossed the toy she just gave me to the floor. Think about the divorce. Kimmy stays with me. The rest can be handled by the lawyer. It was only then Diana realized I was serious. Her gentle demeanor vanished. She stiffly said, I don't agree. Felix, Vincent, and I are innocent. If you can't stand him, I'll cut ties. Whatever makes you happy, I'll go along. Why am I the unreasonable one again? I pulled out a chair and sat down. Speaking lightly, Diana, who's to care about your affections? I want a divorce. Can't it be because I've had enough with you? Diana's words got stuck in her throat. She demanded to know if it was because of Stella. I took a sip of water. Diana, don't make a scene. Stella and I are innocent. If you can't stand her, I'll cut ties. As long as you'll cheerfully divorce me, I'll go along. Not even a minute had passed. The words she once said came right back at her. For the first time, I saw a crazed look on Diana's face. But I wasn't interested in arguing anymore. How you and Vincent are, that's how Stella and I are. Clear as day. Honest as the sun. When you're ready, we can talk. That sarcastic remark brought our relationship down to an all-time low. Diana refused to get a divorce and we were at a stalemate. But soon enough, she got a taste of her own medicine. When I took fruit to Stella or spoke up for her while Diana was around, or maybe when I was texting Stella during dinner about my scar, Diana finally lost it. She slammed down her chopsticks in front of me. Felix, what do you want from me? I've stopped seeing Vincent. Can't we move on already? Her phone showed messages from Vincent, begging her to respond. Diana, are you ignoring me to punish me for asking for a breakup? I'm so sorry. Okay? Can we go back to being friends? I promise I won't disturb you again. I put my own phone on the table. Vincent's just out of line with you. Ignoring him is right. Why should I ditch my doctor because you turned him down? My chats with Stella are nothing unusual. Saturday checkup. Does it still hurt? Much better. Ready to remove the stitches. Okay. Diana couldn't find anything wrong. But as a surgeon, her husband going elsewhere to have stitches removed was the issue. I knew what she was going to say, so I interrupted her. You didn't do my surgery. Don't worry about the follow-up. I'm a stick with one person kind of guy. Diana sat in the living room, not saying a word for a long time. Maybe I really got to her. After dinner, my wound throbbed with a vengeance. I grabbed my coat, ready to head to the hospital. Diana noticed my pale face. What's wrong? I pulled away from her touch and opened the ride-sharing app. Seeing my hospital destination, Diana grabbed her coat. It's late. There aren't any cars. Don't be stubborn. I'll drive you. She was right. My phone just rang as she finished her sentence. Vincent's name flashed on the screen. Instinctively, I grabbed the phone and hung up on him. Diana, I don't feel well. Please take me to the hospital. But Vincent called again. I picked up angrily. Call again, and I'll have no choice but to destroy you. Then I threw the phone against the wall, shattering it into bits. Sweat dotted my forehead. I didn't know what was wrong with me. Diana didn't hesitate anymore and helped me out the door. As she bent down at the entrance to pick up the broken phone, the screen lit up. Vincent had texted, Diana, if that's your choice, would the world be better if I disappeared? Diana froze, forgetting what she was doing. She called someone, threw on her coat, and ran out, even forgetting to shut the door. The loud noise lit up the hallway, and neighbors peeked out at me curiously. I couldn't hold out any longer, and I knelt on the floor. Could someone take me to the hospital? I had no idea it was pancreatitis until Stella showed up just as the doctor said. It's crucial. Delay could mean losing him. On the way, I'd had a hunch and mentally prepared for the worst. Stella hovered at the doorway. A nurse from her department, a woman with a big heart, stepped in. She assumed Diana and I had a fight and tried calming me while picking up my phone to call Diana. Where's she anyway, with her husband in this condition? Suddenly, I felt so tired. At this moment, I had no energy to stop what was happening. The moment the call connected, Vincent's voice came through first, hoarse. Felix, I'm sorry for keeping you pleased for so many days. Diana's with me now, and she's been kind. Did you get her mad? The nurse's face changed, quickly hanging up. When she came to and tried again, it was off. By now, I was used to people pitying me. I smiled calmly. Sorry, she's cheating. Sorry you had to see this. Maybe it was for the best. Hospitals are gossip central, after all. Diana, all sunshine and roses. Having this scandal publicized was just the start of her downfall. The surgery was short. I leaned in the hospital corridor as Stella discussed post-op precautions with the doctor. Then she sat next to me, offering me a cup of hot water. Feeling the warmth in my hand, I said, Thanks, Stella. I've used you to front. Sorry if that caused you trouble. Stella glanced out the window. No need to apologize, Felix. I'm not a naive 20-year-old. What? I asked, surprised. But Stella just stood up. Nothing. Clara will be here soon to take you to Diana's rest area. Diana only learned about my pancreatitis the next day. She rushed to the hospital as I left the rest area. With urgent concern, Diana gently held my face, a visible relief in her eyes. She probably didn't know she still smelled of Vincent's cologne. I furrowed my brow. Who told you about this? Clara did, she replied. Clara, the helpful nurse from last night. Diana had a way of hearing only half of things. Vincent showed up behind Diana. He must have thought his secret calls had stirred up enough drama. Little did he know his words had spread across the hospital overnight. Now, many next to me were pointing and whispering, identifying him as the shameless homewrecker from the call. The atmosphere was tense, but Vincent seemed oblivious. I found it amusing. Diana frowned. Felix, what's funny? I smiled sardonically. Just that it's over for us. Diana's face went stiff. In a cold voice, she scolded Felix. How dare you make decisions without my consent? I'm your wife. The room fell into an awkward silence. My voice was dripping with sarcasm. You remember you're my wife? What were you doing last night when I called you? Diana's expression darkened. You called? Yes, Vincent answered. He said you were quite enthusiastic with him in bed and told me not to disturb you. There was a gasp from the audience. This mistress was audacious, even daring to flaunt it in the hospital right in front of the spouse. Diana was completely frozen, her hand shaking as she looked at Vincent, whose face was now filled with fear. Is it true? She asked. Pale as a sheet, Vincent began to realize everyone was looking at him. Not knowing what went wrong, he nervously shook his head. He's lying. I didn't, Diana, I swear. I calmly added to the blow. Not only did I hear it, but your colleagues did too, Diana. Your lover got this bold. How do you expect me to stay with you? Vincent broke down, crying his heart out and fleeing in embarrassment under everyone's judgment. Diana stood there dazed, unresponsive for a long time. Word of mouth traveled fast. By the afternoon, gossip had spread from the medical circles to the theater scene. The chatter was relentless. Vincent is so proud to be the other man, isn't he? Why doesn't he stream it live? He always says he doesn't add people unless necessary. Now look at him, a pest. The next day, when I went to the hospital to pick up my meds, I ran into Vincent, eyes red from crying. Vincent stopped me, begging, Felix, we don't need to bring things this far, do we? Just clear my name and I'll leave Diana. Clear what? Pretend I never heard you say those things? No way. I need my job, please. I grabbed his collar, speaking calmly, Vincent, I did say I'd tear you apart, right? Come on. I dragged him to Diana's office. I'm giving you one chance. I've got the evidence. Decide who loses their job, Diana or you. But my advice? Sacrifice yourself. You love her so much. Remember? And who's gonna support you if Diana gets fired? Through the closed door, I heard Diana's furious shouting. I felt indifferent. Vincent seemed to be crying. Diana, it's just my possessiveness. I can't stand him having you. We are meant to be together. Why can't I? Enough, Diana replied coldly. You're just a fling. Vincent shouted in disbelief. Diana, you said you loved me. And why would I love you over my husband? Am I crazy? The bite in Diana's words was clear. Then divorce him. Let's move away. I'll be your husband. Forget it. Diana's voice was distant. You've ruined everything for me. I can't afford someone like you. See? As long as it didn't affect her. Her first love was her heart's top choice. But lose everything? Her heart's choice turns to trash. Honestly, I'm just playing with them both. I don't intend to spare either of them. After watching Vincent leave, I went in and tossed the divorce papers at Diana. I don't want to move, and I don't want to see you. Don't come back to the house. Don't push it, Diana. I don't want things to get ugly. She sat there, pale and speechless. Back home, I threw out all Diana's stuff, sent some personal items to Vincent with a note. They're all yours. Enjoy. Vincent, having had some theater roles, was already a hot topic. The internet was buzzing once his identity was dug up. Oh, so his reconciliation story is about wrecking a home. Would love to hear the audio of him provoking the spouse. Here's a tip. A blogger was at the hospital for an appointment and caught the lover's call in the background. I was shocked someone actually recorded it. Even more amazed it was turned into a meme. He was so passionate about me, covered social media like wildfire. Vincent became infamous instantly. Several people caught him on the street, interviewed him, he'd run off looking frazzled. A lot of people started gathering outside the theater group's door, asking, he still got his job? They haven't fired him yet? A few days later, the theater group announced in a statement they'd fired Vincent. I never saw Vincent again. Autumn crept in fast. The uproar over Diana's fiasco got her dismissed from the hospital. I took a long leave to recuperate, waiting for Diana to sign the divorce papers. In just a month, everything flipped upside down. The pain of betrayal resurfaced in the middle of the night sometimes. We had our good times, stolen kisses, the thrill of just touches. That's what made these 3 years feel like a dream. When I woke up, reality was staring me right in the face. I felt hurt, wronged, and bitter. But, thankfully, it's bearable. Time heals all things. A few nights later, Diana called me. I was brushing Kimmy's fur, so I put her on speaker. Her voice echoed in the empty house. I thought she wanted to discuss divorce terms. But she started reminiscing. It was funny. The one who betrayed first ended up being the most sentimental. Felix, remember at the amusement park? When I wanted to cross the bridge, and you carried me on your shoulders. I spoke calmly, yes. 3rd month after we got married, my birthday. They offered a cake to the couple who finished first. But you fell with me into the water. Diana chuckled softly, yeah. Felt guilty all day. But in the hot pot place, you got tipsy and told me you didn't mind. I stayed silent, watching Kimmy bounce around the sofa. Diana asked again, do you remember the night of the car accident? Yes. You got hurt for me. I cried. And that Christmas afterwards? I remember, Diana, I do. Also, the birthday when I kept working late. The longevity noodles you sent. I remember. Sunrise on a snowy night. Sunset by the lake. I remember. Diana went silent. For a long time. Her voice raspy. Felix. Our memories. Too many to finish in a lifetime. Yeah. A lifetime isn't enough. I laughed. But the moment you slept with Vincent, all those memories, they didn't matter to you anymore. You're the one who betrayed everything. The one who should suffer is you. I heard Diana's breath spill out in pain. Diana, I won't erase what we had, because I was happy. I really was. But that's all there is to it. I can talk about the past. Not because I can't let go, but because I have. No one says, you gotta stick with someone for life. I won't look back. And I won't forgive. The phone call lapsed into a long silence. Diana's voice broke. No chance, right? I patted Kimmy's ear. Send over the divorce papers. Let's part on decent terms. After Diana signed the divorce papers, she and Felix entered the divorce cooling-off period. Back when she got married. 2 months felt like a lifetime. That wedding pushed by a blind date. Always had endless little details to fret over. She was irritable and restless. Just hoped it would end soon. But 3 years later, Diana felt time flew by. Her marriage, which she resisted in every way, headed visibly toward an end. In those last 2 months, Felix didn't forgive her. That husband who was so easygoing, so gentle, was so resolved when leaving. Diana often felt like that month she strayed was a dream, her first love, now unrecognizable after many years. But what was unrecognizable wasn't just Vincent, it was her too. Seeing Felix again. It was already late autumn. The trees by the street had shed their leaves. He dressed warmer than most. Looked like he was not fond of the cold. Diana thought about their past and felt an indescribable pain. Felix, wrapped in a scarf, walked up to Diana, his tone fairly friendly. There was some traffic. Diana looked up, towards where he came from. It was empty. Her anxious heart found a bit of peace, but mostly bitterness. I'm in a hurry. Let's just get this over with. Felix walked toward the city office. Diana had a moment. She suddenly wanted to grab Felix, hold him tight, tell him she regretted it. Wanted to say, Vincent was just a youthful obsession. The one she loved was Felix, but in just a moment, the thought vanished into nothing. Felix mentioned, if the divorce doesn't go smoothly, he won't hold back anymore. Her parents were old. She faced losing her job in middle age and having to move far away for work. Once she starts new work, the chance of returning was slim. Her parents lost face over this. Their prolonged illness showed no sign of recovery. She didn't want to leave without keeping some dignity. That day, not many were at the divorce office. The process went by like it had been fast-forwarded. In the blink of an eye, everything was done. Holding the divorce papers, Diana felt like they weighed a ton, crushing her, leaving her breathless. Standing in front of her was Felix. The autumn sun slid past the eaves, drawing a clear line between him and her. Diana stood in shadow, asked Felix, "What's your plan now?" Felix spoke coolly, "No plans. Just work as usual. Live life as usual." Watching Felix's hair tousled by the wind, she instinctively lifted her hand to brush it. Felix got a message, turned to look toward the street. Her hand and his hair missed each other. A black car stood by the corner. She didn't know when it parked. Felix rushed off, not even turning back to say goodbye. Diana stared at the hands on the wheel, watched for a long time. Her mind scrambled, her mind a mess, yet she dared not approach, fearful that the one behind the wheel might be Stella or another woman. So she just stood there, focusing on those hands. The autumn wind blew, tears blurring her eyes. The car pulled away. Diana didn't get a clear look. Diana left her hometown, gone for 3 years. On New Year's Eve, she sat in a cold office. Outside, the cold wind couldn't overcome the warmth and joy of fireworks and family reunions. That year, again, she didn't make it back. Her parents already rather displeased with her. Family and friends nearly all cut ties because of that incident. Diana seemed truly alone. So, on New Year's Eve that year, the dumplings Felix brought in the snow became an unreachable dream for the rest of her life. Just after midnight, New Year's messages flooded in. A message popped up. "Did you hear Felix got married?" Diana stared at it, sitting frozen for a long while. She stayed silent for a bit, but couldn't bring herself to ask who the bride was. She switched to Felix's chat instead. The last record was from 3 years ago, when Felix asked her to meet for the divorce. Diana hesitated, typed "Congratulations on your wedding." The fireworks cracked the silence, echoing in her chest. She took a deep breath, pressed send. The red exclamation point appeared. The fireworks just stopped. The world went quiet, just like her heart, faded to emptiness.